Awesome. Thank you, Janice. Thank you for having me. That's correct. Yes, ma'am. So, yeah. So this started out as an initiative. We actually piloted the pre-K through 12 initiative about 3 years ago. We started with one campus at Bob Hope, and then we also included Resnick Middle School. And then Southwest High School was always the location where we wanted the program to thrive. We never really imagined how far this program would have grown in just 3 years. But I am proud to say that we are now incorporating aviation truly pre-K through 12 at all 11 elementaries, all 4 middle schools, and then here at Southwest High School is where the pivotal point it's taking place. So we're very excited about that. Um, yes, ma'am. So David Gonzalez, he started with us in the program from the very beginning. He is our first technically graduating senior, and through that time, he was very self-driven. He actually wrote quite a few scholarships on his own that provided some funding for us to continue with our aircraft build. But then he also sought out his pilot's license, and we were very proud to say that he is our first student who's graduated and has a private pilot's license. He's actually now at University of Notre Dame, and he is in the ROTC program there, working towards becoming a naval aviator. And so just phenomenal to see such an incredible young man, and we know he's going to do well out there at Notre Dame. Yeah. Yes. This is the part that has made this program thrive. Mr. Bob Franz and Rodolfo Irby, um, they have they started. We began by getting Mr. Irby trained through an AOPA curriculum, and then with the help and support from the D. Howard Foundation and Mr. Wayne Fagan, we came in contact with a gentleman. He just fell out of the sky. His name is Mr. Darren Medlin. He is currently the president of EAA Chapter 35. That's the Experimental Aircraft Association here in San Antonio. And from that, we have had mentors coming in consistently, 4 to 5 mentors coming in consistently into the shop, working directly with our students. And we have Mr. Darren Medland, we have John King, we have Frank Pies working with Mr. Franz in the shop on a senior aircraft build practicum for the students. We have another gentleman named Mr. Dave Hook who is working with Mr. Irby in the classroom teaching the students about unmanned drones. And so these students have the opportunity to work towards an FAA certified drones pilot's license. And with that, they could become commercial drone pilots. And then we have another gentleman who his name is Ron O'Day, and he too is working with Mr. Irby, and he's teaching them the basics in ground school. And we actually have a couple of flight simulators that we were awarded through grants, and this is how our students, and such as David Gonzalez, were able to work and will be able to work towards getting their private pilot's license. I'd like to mention another young lady. Her name is Miss Jane Kellogg. She has come in, and she is really what we call our PR person. She has brought in experts from the field, currently in the field, as guest speakers. She has set up field trips to places that we didn't even know exist prior to getting into this, all around aviation. And then she does something really special. She interviews our students to help them develop their what we call soft skills to help prepare them for job interviewing. whether it be for jobs or whether it be interviewing for school. But then she also helps guide them, now that we have these options, to kind of focus on the area that they're interested in. So some of them still might want to go into the maintenance field, where they can work towards a aircraft maintenance technician, or they could work towards their airframe and power plant certification, which are just, those would be huge areas to accomplish. And then we have another gentleman named Frank Covington, and he is our manager of scholarships through the EAA chapter and then through other organizations. We have been able to gain many scholarships for our students so that they can either put that towards paying for the cost of the certifications that they're working towards, or other opportunities like going to Oshkosh for a national air show that is just gives you the kind of pinnacle feel of what it is to be in the world of aviation. Now, Janice, I have to say, I want to give one more person credit along with our mentors, but we have our CTE clerk, Miss Lisa Milligan. She has processed and assisted our teachers and our mentors in every single purchase. She knows every nut and bolt that has been bought so that we could make all of this happen. And so none of this could happen without her. And she's been with us from the very start. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But we're very impressed with how this program has grown. Yes, ma'am. And it doesn't stop here. We've had to, as everyone has, we've had to deal with kind of slowing the tempo down, but at the same time, and this is one of those parts that's just really amazing, Mr. Irby, he hasn't skipped a beat. He and Mr. Franz stayed in contact with the students throughout the entire summer, continuing to help them stay focused and motivated and energized. And right before we started shooting, Mr. Irby was working on-site in place with students that are face-to-face as they work through their aircraft build, but he moves with his cart and with his camera and with his mic, and he's broadcasting everything that's happening. And the students that are still working remotely, they're 100% engaged. They don't want to leave when it's time for the class to be over. And so it's just, I always like to coin the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, and we have the right people in place to make that happen. Okay, so we actually, I believe, funded and with the support of the Southwest Education Foundation, we purchased the second to last major kit, it's called the powertrain and propeller. So it's literally what makes the plane go. And so as we're able to get more students in-house to be able to work on it, because this is a student project. Our mentors observe, they guide, and they facilitate, but students are the only ones that touch the plane, or they're the only ones that touch the parts and the tools. And that's really an important area that sometimes gets overlooked. This is not an adult project where kids are watching them. The kids are building this plane. And we're going to be the ones that get to sit in it and ride it once they get it off the ground. But we, again, hoped when everything was normal that we would already have this plane ready for inspection close to around August. In the original plan, because of the pandemic, that's been delayed a little bit. We are anxious and ready for things to calm down in the world so that we can get all of our students back and we can get this plane in the air, hopefully by the end of this school year. We do have one more kit to purchase, and that's just the avionics component. It's a very important component, but that will be the final portion that we have to purchase to complete the build. Well, stay engaged in your elementary classes. We have a middle school course that we've just introduced this year with our 7th graders that is specifically about the programs of study that our CTE programs offer at the high school. And it's connected to the feeder schools, but we are kind of giving a snapshot of what's happening at the high school so that they have a better idea of how to choose the courses that they want to go into when they get to their respective high school. But we also, Miss Jane Kellogg, she's recently written an article in, and I want to make sure I say my notes right, it's the Texas Aviation STEM magazine. This is a magazine that is produced out of the Fort Worth Aviation Museum because it really gives the background of how this program got started, and it shows many of the possibilities and opportunities that students can take to be part of a program like this. Well, yes. Part of what I do, again, is I'm a STEM coordinator, and so I work with students pre-K to 12. Really, the goal in STEM is to help the students make connections in what they're learning in the STEM field that connects to careers, but also, again, leads to what is actually happening at their high schools. And one of the struggles of the pandemic hitting when it did is a lot of the recruitment efforts that our CTE coordinators and officers typically do in a school year, we did not get to do this last year to the full effect or full extent that we did. And so my main thing is for my viewers and my watchers, the purpose of this spotlight is we want people to know in our community the incredible things that are happening here at Southwest ISD. The aviation program is here at Southwest High School, and so I want to make sure that my 8th graders are fully aware, specifically if they're coming from Scobie or McNair, but really all over the district because we are an open district, that this aviation program is going strong, and we've got room. We've got room to learn. But if you like the ideas of flight, you like getting hands-on learning and building and taking apart and then seeing things work after you're done, I really want to encourage you to take a look at this area and field. And even if you don't go into aviation after, it teaches skills far beyond really anything that you could possibly imagine. And so please be aware of what's happening here in Southwest, and we look forward to seeing you join our program.